Hello from the Tugascopy TV studio in Geneva. We're discussing the question, is there a new shape for the Middle East, with Francois Aubert, management consultant here in Geneva. Monsieur Aubert, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Daniel, for having me.
So what is the impact of the low oil price on the Middle East, especially on the countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council?
Well, we had that start of discussion last time I came in, and many countries are there in the Middle East and in the GCC, in the Gulf Cooperation Council, needs a certain price of the oil. It is said that the Saudi Arabia needs about $80–85 a barrel to cover the cost. So what they're doing currently is they are actually not making enough money out of their oil. But it's a large country, they can cope with that for a little while, and they are probably motivated for strategic reasons, notably because of the fracking oil in the US. Many of these companies in the US were highly leveraged and many are now out of business. They are probably also doing this because of Daesh, that is selling oil, so they want to reduce that income, and maybe also because Iran is coming on the map. The other countries, notably the Emirates, they are spending quite a lot of money these days. Some buying new planes. Emirates is said to be negotiating a purchase of a very large number of new Super Jumbo Airbus. And Qatar, for instance, is organizing a World Cup that will be extremely expensive. We are talking about $220 billion. This is about 60 times the cost of the World Cup in South Africa, 60. So it is an immense amount of money. And all these countries need to see at some stage the oil price going up. So for now, they're struggling a bit. They have some cash, but it can't be like that forever.
Mm-hmm. The Arab League decided to create a joint military force. How will this impact the region? What is your assessment on it?
Well, basically, behind that decision are the two largest countries, Egypt and Saudi Arabia. There is a problem to solve, an immediate problem to solve, Yemen. Somalia being a chaos for now many years, entry to the Red Sea and ultimately to the west of Saudi Arabia and east of Egypt is critical. So if they are losing the control on Yemen, they have a very serious problem there. That's why they wanted to intervene. That actually pushed the Americans to say, hold on, we come to the rescue, and now they try to calm down, notably on the bombing. The other idea behind is to make a kind of counterpower to the line that is currently being built that goes from Iran to Lebanon via Syria. And you might have also a religious aspect. The south is more Sunni, the north is more Shias, and they need to have that counterpower. They also need to show the Americans and the others that they are strong. And actually, the new king of Saudi Arabia, King Salman, just decided not to go to the US at the invitation of President Obama for a meeting that is a usual meeting. So there is clearly a way to say we are here and we want to be in control. And I think that is what is behind that decision.
And you also mentioned Iran in your answer, that it has a substantive impact in the region. There has been the comprehensive agreement on the Iran nuclear program recently here in the Geneva region. Do you think that this agreement still has a chance to fail?
The chances are very limited for a number of reasons. First, political reasons. Both governments are deeply engaged into these negotiations, so it will be a terrible failure for both the Americans and the Iranians. The second big reason is purely economics. In Iran, you have 85 million inhabitants. This is simply the largest new market opening since the fall of the Berlin Wall. So it is a major change, and no one wants to miss that business. So I don't think there is a lot of chances to see that deal failing. Of course, we will listen in the press a lot of negotiations, talks. But at the end of the day, I think we will get to an agreement that is good for absolutely everybody.
So you just laid out a lot of new developments. Do you think these developments will lead to permanent change in the region?
I mean, first, it's always changing, but we have already some very clear developments. The first development is that new pipeline that goes to Fujairah. Fujairah is to the east of United Arab Emirates in the Gulf of Oman, and actually it's a pipeline to skip the Hormuz Strait, which has a strategic importance. So this is a small change, of course, but it is changing the balance of power, because that was a very strong leverage Iranians had. Another change is clearly Syria will be probably a smaller country, probably still with the Assad family governing, because clearly it's difficult to take them out of the map, but it will be probably smaller, with probably, as I mentioned last time, the emergence of a new Kurdistan that will certainly cover part of Iraq, part of Iran, part of Syria, because it's self-determination, it's a human rights, and we gave a lot of weapons to these people to fight on the ground on behalf of basically the world. And so there probably will be a country there, a quite solid country. So we probably will have, as we have now, a northern area which will be pretty much under the Iranian leadership, and the south part which probably will be under Saudi leadership, kind of, because they have the money for that. So that's probably where we're going. Mm-hmm. And to if we go even beyond the Middle East, we have the question of USA and Russia. And it's quite interesting to see that although we hear everything we hear about Mr. Putin and Russian government, he made it in most of the current negotiations and wars. In Ukraine, he got pretty much what he wanted. In Syria, he got pretty much what he wanted. And in Iran, he's about to get what he's wanting. So that will clearly, it's the new emergence of Russia that goes on the global map, and that will be quite interesting. So I think that's the kind of new world we're going to have. A world with certainly a lot of money, a lot of developments, provided they can fund it until the end. And now 3 superpowers, because the Chinese are clearly not playing on this ground. They are here somewhere on the world. Mm-hmm.
And all these impacts really the shape of the Middle East. You say, let's start a perspective, maybe in 20 years from now. What do you think, how will the Middle East have changed?
I think that it's clear now in the mind of the people that it's not a place for democracy. It's not a place for democracy because Muslim people are educated from the beginning with a lot of values we don't know about, with ethics, with religion, of course. And among these are the idea that one should lead. And the idea of having one leader is absolutely critical. And if you speak with them, all of them will tell you, I want to have a rise, or I want to have a leader. So I think the idea of democracy is gone, at least for now. And the best example is, of course, Egypt, where we have a government as it was before. The only thing, it's not Mr. Mubarak, but Mr. Sisi, but it's exactly the same system. But this time, people are saying, oh, that's fine, we're happy with that. So I think that pressure is a bit off the map. Now you have still a lot of oil problems, but we are finding oils and other ways of fueling ourselves. So that probably will reduce a little bit the pressure. And remains, of course, the water issue. And that is something that will or might create troubles, not only in the Middle East, but in elsewhere. But that is in the longer term.
Francois Aubert, thank you very much for being here today and for your perspectives on the Middle East.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for watching. Do make sure to keep clicking back on the Dukascopy TV website for latest updates and exclusive interviews. Have a great day and see you next time.